Alright, took a little bit longer to load than expected, but not by much. We find ourselves in the game. It's a best of 3 to kick off our morning for the OlimoLeague, folks. It's the OlimoLeague monthly finals, I might add, as well. So, a little bit of extra on the line. I think it's a $500 prize for today. Or prize pool, I should say, a little bit more accurately. I'm Rifkin, cast this morning with Zombie Grub. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map from Invasion Esport. It's gonna be... No, Invasion Gaming, I always do Esport. Why do I say Esport? Invasion Gaming's, pardon me, Red, Terran, Gumiho.
In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it's Axiom's Impact.
God, you know you're awake when? I don't know why I keep thinking it's Esport, though, because there's never been an instance where that's been a thing. Anyways, Expedition Lost. Interesting map. Really hate it for Terran. Surprised Gumiho didn't fight harder. We're like, look, I know it's the set map of the pool, but can we do it differently?
I think... yeah, I don't like this map at all either, but I guess TVZ would be like the least worst, like,
I know we were pretty buzzed at the time, but I'm thinking back to Taiga versus Ghost User, when Ghost User just kind of super all in the back door.
Yeah, no, that's like, you can do it at every race, though, so I'm trying to see, like, the other benefits, like,
yeah.
Not regarding the back door, but, like, what else is going on? When
I look at this map specifically, though, with Gumiho especially in mind, this is where I wonder just how good versus a bad map this is. Gumiho's a guy who, he likes mech, right? It's not someone who often changes it up. He can play Bio. He's played Bio for us before. We've seen him play Bio, and he's good at it. But for the most part, it's mech, and more mech. And this map, okay, I can easily see you locking down 3 bases with tanks and good positioning and blah, blah, blah. But where do you really take that forth? Because it's kind of bad all around. And that's kind of Gumiho's sweet spot. You get the 4th base down, and then you get unbeatable battle cruisers. Have a good time, be Gumiho.
Yeah. He could play, a different style of mech. Even though he definitely has the one that he prefers, right? Battle cruisers and whatever. And he can also play Bio, so he's not a type of player that is actually locked into one set style and he's just screwed if he tries anything else. No, he's played this game for like 4.5 years now. He knows basically everything. He's tried almost everything, I'm guessing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any option, but the only thing I would be surprised is typical Gumiho, like him actually trying to get to a 4th, depending on the 4th. And like getting up the back cruisers, because if it goes poorly, I'm just gonna be like, what else were you expecting?
Well, quick shout out to Jatech, bro. Just resubbed 2 months running. Thanks for the continued support, friend. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine with all the new maps being the way they are. First off, I doubt Gumiho hasn't tried them out at this point. They're on the ladder, for goodness sake. But none of them really complement that playstyle of easy peasy 4 bases, have a good time, and go mech. So he may have changed his style up. Well, we did always see him make that his end goal very clearly. Get 4 bases, get battle cruisers. Maybe things have changed now that it's been the new ladder pool.
Yeah.
Watchtowers on this map are hilarious because they don't really reveal anything too pertinent.
No. Yeah, you can of course skirt them too if you're gonna have a medevac drop if you really try. So
I mean, they are kind of, the dynamic of them for the early game is really interesting, because if you are playing really paranoid, you can knock down these rock towers early, and then the watchtower does reveal the only viable path to walk through, but that's still just so stupid to assume your opponent would never go through rocks. Like, I don't like how counterintuitive the Zelnaga roll are.
Yeah. I mean, these back rocks just seem so abusive to Terran, but then like Terran doesn't seem like it can, like, well, why would they ever bother breaking down the back rocks on the other race, right? Because yeah, medevacs.
Yeah.
So unfair, man. But that is, I believe. Oh, actually, Gumiho's not getting a starport, so it's gonna be a Hellbat Marine push, like at the front door.
There's a lot of Marines too, and he'll go through the middle of both watchtowers. So poor impact. Stupid Zelnaga, false sense of security watchtowers.
Yeah. Oh boy, I got both watchtowers. He's not even trying to get them. Oh dear. Oh goody me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is a bit awkward. He does crawl up here on the front lines. Now, Impact is someone who we've seen hold pushes like this. His Baneling Nest is a little bit late, but so are the Hellbats. So this might time out to work out where the 3 queens, 2 queens, and the Spinecrawler, they could buy enough time for the Baneling Nest to come out.
He's not even gonna do the push anymore?
I think
No.
he's just waiting for the extra
Okay.
Hellions.
But he pulled back, and maybe that was just a misclick with the Hellions had the Marines.
Losing even one or two of these can be pretty bad. He needs the Marines for the damage to really focus down the Queens. The Hellbats are good and all, but they're too slow. They don't really keep up with the fight, so losing a couple Marines like that does take a bit of the edge off this attack. But for Gumiho, it's not really that big of an all-in. He is actually going to play Bio this game, by the way.
Cool. Something a little different for Gumiho. But, you know, Impact, only 2 Banelings? Well, okay, he has 3 Queens in his bunker. That actually, I don't even know if he needed 2 Banelings. It was that much of a defense. Yeah. Gumiho just go back. He can use his Hellbats later.
Now this is kind of interesting at Impact. I don't think 2-base Spire is bad, generally speaking, but because his opponent's not playing mech, this doesn't get that same benefit in the early game. And for Gumiho's sake, I don't exactly think it's a mind game per se. Is Impact scouted? No, he's not scouted yet. But yeah, 2-base Mutalisk opener, it's really safe for those Hellbat pushes. It's really good at doing harass against mech players, just generally speaking. But with the third being so quote-unquote late against Gumiho because he's not playing mech, we'll see if this hurts Impact or not.
I don't think so. I mean, long gone are the days where, like, if you went 2-base Muta versus a Bio player, you effed up. Like, you thought it was mech and you were wrong, so you're gonna have a bad time. Now, Muta, like, run 2 bases, especially with Impact, is like his go-to build. It is like standard for him. And it does give you, it's a good build to have, especially I think on maps that are hard to take. He'll do it on maps that, like, you know, I mean, he'd probably do it on Akalon, honestly, where, like, a third place isn't all that hard to take, but especially on maps where it's like, oh my god, if he drops me to the right and to the left, what am I gonna do? Like, look at this base positioning, oh my god. Because mutas just give you that control, that map control. And there's always the threat of the, like, the pseudo all-in with, like, the Lings and Banelings right outside their front door, so they always have to be a little cautious, and of course they can't move out comfortably because then the mutas go into their main base, so it's a good control build.
Well, that one's really scout. Gumiho finally did get scouted by Impact. Sorry, pardon me, the Overseer did see the bio, but Gumiho himself's not seen the mutas, but now revealed.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Yeah, it's the Impact, right? It would cast this guy enough to know what he's going to do most of the time, but Marines are going to surprise the Mutalists nonetheless, push those back. Banelings are... there's a couple in play more on the way, but that speed's not quite done. So taking an engagement, no, the Terran doesn't have combat shields, but without that speed, it's going to be really hard to get that sweet connect.
Yeah. The crew spread is pretty good. It is lacking on the very right side, though, so Gumiho just kind of runs past it for now, and now it's suddenly not that good at all. Still enough to cover with the high ground. I think the Banelings do just okay, and I like the Spine Crawler as well.
Yeah, I'm really curious what he's planning to do with the Hellbats. It looked like he was trying to keep those away from the Banelings, so maybe hoping to keep those alive specifically for the Lings. Either way, a bit of a scary situation from both sides. Gumiho doesn't know he's pushing into, and Impact doesn't know if he can hold. So Gumiho choosing to back off is probably a huge relief for Impact for now. But we got the medevac heading out. It's going to get scouted. Nice watchtower control on Impact is finally going to come into pretty good effect, actually. We'll see this medevac.
You know, Gumiho never broke down the back rocks, despite taking the third. That says break down the back rocks.
Yeah, I thought those would have been taken down if that was going to be his third base, but I guess, I don't know, feeling secure with the army there doesn't quite need it. I hate the idea of these high ground brush being here. I'm going to take that down. As if this base wasn't already hard enough to hold because there's 2 wide entrances. The fact that you can't see what's coming out of either of them, oh god.
Yeah.
Scary for any player, not just Terran. But the drop looks like it has been stalled out. The Mutalisks, I'm not sure if they saw it or not, but he chose not to engage either way. Impact's going for his 4th while this goes up. Tech-wise, I mean, it's going to be 2-2 for Gumiho. Impact's not even started his melees, prioritized the air. Ooh, nice pick-off.
Oh.
Almost.
How did you not kill that? Oh,
the boost is going to run out, yeah, so it's 1 Marine now. Might as well get killed. But with that being the distraction, the push does begin. We got a couple of wood mines laid down. Wood mines I think are going to be pretty dang important. Well, Hellbats can soak the hits from Banelings. Wood mines have a chance to actually just annihilate them.
Yeah. I guess for Gumiho, my question right now, actually, that was it. When is the second factory going to come down? I'm starting to need those Thors to really solidify any push that you do. Nice pick on the, the supply depots here, despite being raised.
Gumiho is nowhere in position for this. He's running, he's sprinting back home. To get underneath, the Woodmines are going to try and burrow. They might get a shot on the Lings. Yeah, they do. Alright, that'll keep the SCVs nicely alive. Marines coming back from the front. Where's that secondary force, though? Here we go. Trying to get in here. A couple units being picked off, but this really got Gumiho off guard. It didn't slaughter the workers at this point, but down to 44 SCVs, 42 SCVs. 20 dead. Got a couple of mules to make up that difference, but that, the biggest thing was that did draw Gumiho's entire force back home. There's no counterattack damage. Not a single drone dead yet.
Impact did not respread the creep, though. I think he was just about to. So it's still a good position for Gumiho, but his army is split up. I don't know what the reason for this is. I feel like this is definitely a misclick.
Well, I think part of it was the funnel coming back home really split him in half.
Yeah.
Just dragging everything back to get that defense, but does salvage it, puts his army consolidated once again. A couple Marauders on the front lines. I don't know if this is really enough to stop the Banelings, but it will help a little bit. Actually, no, they're just going to roll right past that. Woodmines don't get the amazing shots off that they need, and Gumiho in a lot of trouble. His front line is demolished. Impact holds, but he's going to be able to counter push. And what does Gumiho have back at home? Second factory came out for production, but with all those SCVs going down, doesn't really have the money to make anything. Oh, he's got a lot of idle SCVs in the main too. I don't know if he realizes this.
No, I don't think so.
Already in such a low count, split between 3 bases. There we go. Finally go back to work.
He's down by 65 though. I mean, you could see like the Terran desperation after getting counterattacked, and especially if you think that you took more damage than you did, and maybe you thought that that mineral line of the natural was actually that bear as opposed to SCVs somewhere else. Then you do feel panicked, and you do try and counterattack immediately, and that's, the speed, the haste, you do micro mistakes, you go on a creep, and, well, then you end up losing the game. Whereas Gumiho, I think if he had just played it cool, he would have recovered perfectly fine. Throw in the 4th CC, get that Thor out, and then start pushing. But, it's going to be a tough hold.
I would have loved to have seen how Mech played on this map. His choice to play Bio, I think, definitely was influenced by that. More difficult to take 4th, but yeah, Bio's just not really doing him justice here. We've seen Gumiho's Bio too. It's not bad. It's just this game, it's not going very well. Mulos are going to dive a little bit preemptively. Loses a couple meters to the Marines, but he's got so many freaking Banelings flooding in. Marauders kind of the gatekeepers here at the front door. They do finally go down. Focus fire, though, on that ramp will keep Gumiho alive, but not the SCVs if he's not careful. He does split them off, but 13 more workers dead on top of an already incredibly high count.
Oh, Thor, please!
He shoots like the edge mutilist too, like, go figure, right?
He's gonna get most of them towards the end, maybe unless the turret helps out. They're all really
super low. Let him in, please! Too late.
Not before they kill the SCVs, could you not?
Gumiho has lost a total of 48 SCVs so far. He's got barely 28 to stand on. That factory's burning down. He doesn't really have that much energy for mules either. There's sometimes that relief where you're like, well, I didn't scan, I didn't mule for the last 3 minutes, so drop 8 mules to get back into the game, but that's not really the case for Gumiho right now.
Yeah. Gumiho, he's gonna have a whole 2 upgrades over the Impact, just enough he doesn't have stuff to use it. But this last push dying, I think that'll be the tap out.
I'd love to, during this game, check out the OlimoLeague ratings too, by the way, because I think Gumiho has got quite the lead on Impact in times we've cast him. Because, I mean, these two have fought plenty of times before, but Impact looking to be absolutely on form today. Really well played. Banelings still run in, the Zerglings have amassed, and Gumiho has just been constantly down in supply, whether it was 60 to what is now almost 100. It's just not been going his way. And for this reason, we should petition to have Expedition Lost removed from the map.
Impact has a 1 against Gumiho since September.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
Impact's not been having a good time with Mech, that's for sure.
That's a long time. 4 other matches where he just straight up, lost, but this has got to be it.
Widow Mines get some pretty nice hits. These Marines might just hold, but it is barely 3 base economy versus Impact having essentially the entire map. So even if Gumiho doesn't die right now, even before there was a small instance of an upgrade lead. It's still there barely, but it's 3-3 versus 2-2. They will shred the Mutalisk still, which is really nice for those Marines, but Impact, I kind of feel could pull an Urchu and just go like all Banelings and win, all Zerglings and win. Like, I don't.
Yeah. You can take on those Marines.
I think they're gonna die to Glaveworm bounces. Yeah, a couple of them starting to go down. They're really low.
Focus fires one muted down, and you know, where's the Super Saiyan Terran mode? Where's like the 5 drops that are gonna get back into this game?
You know, Glaveworm is usually, it's just so negligible because of course the medevacs heal up that damage. I think it's the first time I've really witnessed a Marine die to a Glaveworm bounce. Still in it though, he's gonna go down fighting. Gumiho's gonna go for another drop down here to the south, but Impact actually doesn't have some Naga control. A little bit interesting, but ooh, whittling shots. Eaten by the Mutalisks. Doesn't really know how many more there are, so doesn't want to push in, but certainly could. They're all off cooldown, or they're all on cooldown. Yeah, the resources lost is surprisingly even, but it's not the resources lost I look at to judge this game, it's the income. And yeah, third base being lifted, chasing down best he can. We do have that drop finally go off down here to the south, but it's gonna get cleaned up pretty quick. Impact. I don't really know what else is left to be said at this point. Like, Gumiho has lost this. There we go. GG finally called, and Impact will take game number 1. Gonna give a sub shout out too, by the way, to